There are four types of accounts that I find hardest to grow as a content coach. And I want to talk you through what these are, but I want to focus on the last one because if you're somebody whose account has been quite slow to grow, you need to hear this. The first type of accounts are legacy accounts, accounts that were maybe set up in 2020, 2021, 2022. They maybe had a bit of initial growth, then you maybe took a break and then tried to revive the account, but crickets. These are hard to grow for a multitude of reasons. First of all, you might have a lot of legacy data, a lot of messy data in the algorithm. Secondly, you might have a bunch of inactive followers or followers who have changed or moved on or their interests have developed. Also, the algorithm might be very different from when you first started posting, so it might be hard to adapt. The second type of accounts are hybrid accounts, so accounts that post an equal mix of TikTok shop content and organic content at the same time. These are hard to grow because you're essentially balancing two competing strategies at once. The next type of accounts are accounts that pivot or change niche completely because you've maybe grown a following who follow you for one thing, and then when you change that, it can be hard to maintain any level of engagement. But the accounts that I find maybe the hardest to grow are accounts that had a lot of fast initial growth at the start. So accounts that maybe blew up initially. Honestly, fast growth on your account is not always a good thing. And I know that sounds very counterintuitive coming from a content coach that often helps people grow fast. But when it's not intentional, especially, it can actually be damaging to your account. Because when you grow fast, it typically happens when you've had a couple of viral or really well performing videos. You get a lot of followers from those pieces of content. And those followers are not loyal followers. They are hype followers. They're not following you because they like you or they understand you. They're following you from that one video. So the engagement from them tends to be low. They're a cold audience. Then the second thing is the psychological pressure. Once you have had the high of those really well performing videos, you compare everything you post after that to that successful video. And everything subsequently feels like a failure, and you put a lot of pressure on yourself to replicate that performance, but the pressure makes your content so much worse. Slow growth often creates a much tighter community and a much better foundation for long-term monetization of your account, because when people follow you from the start, they feel so much more invested in your content. They're part of the journey. You would honestly be shocked by the amount of big content creators you would know who are in my DMs asking for advice because they've built these huge audiences and don't know what to do with them. So don't feel shitty if your account has been slow to grow. That can often be a good thing that works in your favor long term.